This branch looks completely out of control, and that's exactly what I want. I'm not growing this branch for the branch, I'm growing it for the trunk, and that's basically what a sacrifice branch is all about. You deliberately allow one branch to grow much harder than you normally would, because you're using that growth to develop the trunk. But there's a lot more to it than just letting a branch run. Where you put it matters, how long you leave it matters, how you control it matters, and if you get the timing wrong, you can end up with a trunk that's thick, but has terrible taper. So today I'm going to break down exactly how I use sacrifice branches, why they work, where to put them, when to remove them, and the mistakes I think you really need to avoid. Let's start right at the beginning. A sacrifice branch is simply a branch that I'm allowing to grow for development, even though I already know I'm probably going to remove it later. It's temporary growth. The finished bonsai doesn't need it. The developing tree does. And this is where bonsai development is very different from bonsai refinement. When you're refining a finished tree, you're worrying about branch length, internodes, ramification, pads, and silhouette. All the things that make the tree look like a bonsai. But when I'm developing a trunk, I'm thinking completely differently. I want growth, lots of it. I want the tree putting energy into thickening the trunk, and sometimes that means allowing the branch to grow far beyond what I'd ever allow on a finished tree. That's why you might look at one of my developing trees and think, why on earth has he left that branch so long? Well, there's a reason. Here is another large Japanese maple from my collection. So why does this actually work? It comes down to vigorous growth. The foliage is the engine of the tree. Healthy leaves capture light and produce carbohydrates through photosynthesis. That supports new growth and activity of the cambium, the living layer of tissue responsible for producing new vascular tissue and contributing to stem thickening. So when you've got a strong, healthy branch that's producing lots of foliage and actively growing, you're creating a much stronger developmental response than you would get from a tiny, constantly trimmed branch. And there's another thing that we need to talk about here, apical dominance. The growing tip produces hormones, particularly auxin, that influence the distribution of growth throughout the plant. That's one reason a vigorous shoot can become extremely dominant. And that's exactly what we're taking advantage of during development. We're allowing a part of the tree to grow strongly rather than constantly stopping it. But here's where sacrifice branches get really interesting. It's not simply let a branch grow and the whole trunk gets thicker. The position matters. If I have a very thin trunk and I allow a strong sacrifice branch to grow from low down, I'm developing that lower section. If I then move my development higher up the trunk later, I can continue building taper. And that's the word I want you to remember, taper. A good bonsai trunk shouldn't normally look like a telephone pole. You want it to gradually reduce in diameter as it moves towards the apex. So if the base is thick, the middle slightly thinner, and the upper trunk thinner again, you get much more convincing movement and proportion. This is why I don't just ask, how thick can I make this tree? I'm asking, where does this tree need more thickness? Let's imagine we've got a young tree with a skinny trunk. I put a strong sacrifice branch low down. I let it run. The lower trunk develops. Eventually I've got the thickness I want in that section. So I remove it. Now I've got a thicker lower trunk. Then I can use another branch further up the tree to develop the next section. And this is where multiple sacrifice branches become really useful. You're basically building the trunk in stages. Lower section first, then middle, then upper section. You're controlling where the diameter changes. And that's how you can create taper rather than just producing one massive straight cylinder. Now here's something I think beginners get wrong. They think the biggest sacrifice branch must be the biggest sacrifice branch. Not necessarily, because every time you allow a sacrifice to become bigger, you're potentially creating a bigger pruning wound, and that's important. The branch might give you fantastic development, but eventually that branch has to come off. And if you've allowed it to become too enormous, you've now got a huge wound sitting on your trunk. So there's always a balance. I want enough vigor to develop the trunk quickly, but I also need to think about the future of the tree. How well does this species heal? Where is the branch attached? How big is the wound going to be? And can I hide that wound from the final viewing angle? This is why sacrifice branch placement is something I think about before I even let the branch run. If I can put it on the back of the tree, that's often ideal, because eventually it's going to leave a scar. And I don't necessarily want a massive circular scar staring straight at me from the front of the trunk. But there's another option. Sometimes a scar can become part of the character of the tree, especially on species that naturally develop rough bark or interesting trunk features. But if I've got a choice between putting a wound in the middle of the front of the trunk or putting it somewhere discreet, I'll take discreet every time. So how do I actually manage the sacrifice? For me, the first thing is simple. I let it grow. I'm not treating it like a finished branch. I'm not constantly pinching it. I'm not trying to keep the internode short. That's a completely different stage of development. Here, long internodes don't bother me. I'm trying to generate extension growth and vigor, but I still keep an eye on the tree, because there's a difference between allowing the sacrifice branch to run and allowing it to completely take over the tree. And this is where apical dominance comes back into the picture. That strong growing shoot can become extremely dominant. It can pull the tree's growth towards itself while weaker branches struggle. And that's not always what I want, because remember, I'm building a future bonsai. That means I need to protect the branches I'm eventually going to keep. So I'm constantly asking, is my sacrifice doing its job? Or is it taking too much from the rest of the tree? If it's becoming too dominant, I may need to manage that growth. The sacrifice is the tool. It isn't the entire project. Now we get to the big question. When do you cut it off? And this is where I don't want you following a calendar. Don't say, I've had the sacrifice branch for 2 years, so it has to come off. The tree doesn't care about the calendar. Look at the trunk. Has the section you've been developing reached the diameter you're looking for? Has the taper developed? Is the sacrifice starting to create a swelling? Is the wound likely to become too large? Those are the things I'm looking at. Once the branch has done its job, remove it, because keeping it longer isn't automatically better. This is one of the biggest dangers with sacrifice branches. Inverse taper. Instead of the trunk gradually becoming thinner towards the apex, you can end up with a section that suddenly becomes thicker. And once you've got a big swelling, it's not always easy to correct. You can prune away a branch. You can't simply prune away a large section of trunk without completely changing the tree. So I'm always watching the transition. I want a thick base, a slightly thinner middle, and then a gradual reduction towards the apex. Not thick base, skinny trunk, massive bulge, skinny trunk again. On a vigorous tree, I can take this a step further and use multiple sacrifice branches. Maybe this one is developing this part of the trunk, and another is developing the middle. Once the first one has done its job, it's time to take it off, and then the next one takes over. You're basically moving the development point up the tree, and this can give you much more control over taper than leaving one enormous sacrifice branch running for the same position for years. Now, one thing I really want to stress is that you can't treat every species exactly the same. A Japanese maple isn't an elm isn't a pine, and a pine isn't a crabapple. They all have different growth habits, different responses to pruning, different abilities to produce new shoots, and different wound healing characteristics. So before I allow a sacrifice branch to become enormous, I'm thinking about the species. How vigorous is it? How does it respond to large cuts? Does it backbud reliably? How quickly does it heal? And is it prone to dieback? Because the technique might be the same, but the way I use it can be very, very different. And there's another part of this that sometimes people overlook. You can't expect explosive top growth from a tree that's struggling underneath. If the root system isn't healthy, if the tree isn't getting enough light, if watering is poor, or the tree simply isn't vigorous, the sacrifice branch isn't going to solve the problem. The foundation has to be right first. Healthy roots, healthy foliage, good growing conditions, then you can start taking advantage of that vigor. When the time finally comes to remove the sacrifice, this is where I slow down. I'm looking at the branch collar, I'm thinking about the size of the cut, I'm thinking about the possible dieback, and I'm thinking about how this wound is going to heal. On a small branch, that's relatively straightforward. On a massive sacrifice that's been allowed to run for years, it's a completely different situation. And this is why I keep saying, don't just grow the biggest possible branch, grow the branch you need for as long as you need it, and then move on. So if you're developing a bonsai from young material, this is how I want you thinking about sacrifice branches. First, get the tree healthy, then decide where the trunk needs development. Choose a branch in a useful position, let it grow strongly. Don't worry about making that branch look pretty. Watch the rest of the tree. Watch the taper. Watch for swelling. And when that section of the trunk has reached the thickness you need, remove the sacrifice. Then, if necessary, move the development higher up the trunk. That's how you turn uncontrolled growth into controlled trunk development. And that's the part I really like about sacrifice branches. You're deliberately growing something that you already know you're going to remove. Because of what it's doing for the tree underneath, the branch is temporary. The trunk development is what we're keeping. And once you start looking at your developing trees this way, you stop seeing a long, ugly branch as a problem and start seeing it as a tool. So don't be afraid of letting your developing bonsai grow. Just make sure every bit of that growth has a purpose. And if you're developing your own trees, let me know in the comments what species are you using sacrifice branches on.